Right now, as you read this, there are approximately 2,300 Americans having a heart attack. Not this week, not today, right now, in this moment. And the most sobering part is this. According to the CDC, 7 out of every 10 of those people had no idea their arteries were already compromised. No pain, no warning, no symptoms. The American Heart Association confirms that cardiovascular disease is still the leading cause of death for Americans over 60, claiming more than 695,000 lives every year. That is more than all cancers combined. Now here is the question that matters. Could something as simple as a tea your grandmother used to make actually help protect your arteries? The answer, according to recent research, may surprise you. Every week in my practice, I see 2 or 3 patients who come in holding their lab results, confused, asking me what went wrong. These are people who walked every morning, people who took their medications, and yet their arteries were quietly narrowing day by day without a single symptom. When I look at those patients, I feel a deep sense of responsibility because most of them could have changed this path years earlier, and that is exactly why I recorded this video today. In this video, I will walk you through the 5 habits that may be silently harming your arteries every single day, and the most surprising one is not what you expect. I will also share the tea protocol that combines hibiscus, raw garlic, and ginger in a specific way that modern research has validated and that grandmothers knew about long before scientists put a name to it. This video does not replace medical care, but it may help you ask better questions at your next appointment. Let us begin. Let me explain something that will change how you think about your own body. Your arteries work like the water pipes in an old house. If you have ever lived in an older home, you know what happens to pipes over time. Mineral deposits build up along the inner walls, forming a hard layer that gradually narrows the space where water flows. With arteries, the same process happens. Instead of mineral buildup, what accumulates is a combination of oxidized LDL cholesterol, fat deposits, and inflammatory cells, forming what physicians call atherosclerotic plaque. When that plaque restricts blood flow enough, the result is a heart attack or stroke. The NIH estimates that atherosclerosis begins forming silently in your 30s. By age 60, most people already have some measurable degree of arterial narrowing with 0 symptoms. It is a slow, quiet process, and the good news is that the same gradual process that builds plaque can, with the right habits, be slowed and in some cases, partially reversed. Hidden threat number 5. Margarine and trans fats at breakfast. How many mornings a week do you spread margarine on your toast? Every day. Most days. You are not alone. Millions of Americans over 60 do this, often thinking it is a healthier choice than butter. But a landmark study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, following more than 80,000 adults over 20 years, found that daily trans fat consumption increases the risk of coronary artery disease by 23%. Trans fats work like a corrosive agent inside your arterial pipes. They oxidize LDL cholesterol, making it sticky so it adheres to artery walls. Once there, it triggers an inflammatory response, accelerates plaque formation, and progressively narrows the passage where blood flows. Margaret was 66 years old, a retired teacher from Phoenix, Arizona. Every morning, without exception, she had 2 slices of toast with margarine and a strong black tea. It had been her routine for over 20 years. When she came to my office, her lipid panel showed elevated oxidized LDL, and her high-sensitivity CRP was above normal, a clear indicator of active vascular inflammation. "But I don't eat fried food," she told me. She did not need to. The daily margarine was doing the work. We replaced the margarine with extra virgin olive oil for dipping and added ground flaxseed to her breakfast. Within 45 days, her LDL dropped 18% and her CRP returned to normal range. "I had no idea breakfast was the problem," she said. What to do? Replace margarine with extra virgin olive oil or mashed avocado. Remove packaged crackers and processed baked goods. Read labels. If you see partially hydrogenated oil, put it back on the shelf. Choose whole grain bread or oatmeal instead. But hidden threat number 4 is even more deceptive. Because you likely consider it healthy. Hidden threat number 4. Excess sodium and salting food before tasting. Do you add salt to your food before you taste it? There is no judgment here. Most people do. But this seemingly harmless habit is silently damaging your arteries. The CDC reports that the average American consumes about 3,400 milligrams of sodium daily, nearly 50% more than the American Heart Association's recommended limit of 2,300 milligrams. Excess sodium does not only raise blood pressure, it stiffens artery walls, reducing the elasticity they need to expand and contract with each heartbeat. Think of it this way. A garden hose that has been left out in the sun for years becomes brittle. When the water pressure increases, it cracks. Arteries stiffened by excess sodium behave the same way. They lose flexibility, become more vulnerable to damage, and create exactly the conditions where plaque accelerates. Frank was 69 years old, a retired mechanic from Cleveland, Ohio. He salted everything, including vegetables and eggs, before he even sat down. His blood pressure had been elevated for years, managed with one medication. When we introduced a gradual sodium reduction protocol along with the tea, within 30 days his blood pressure improved enough that his physician reduced his medication dosage. It felt like someone loosened a tight band around my head, he told me. What to do? Remove the salt shaker from the table. Taste food before adding anything. Season with herbs instead. Rosemary, garlic, turmeric, black pepper. Read labels. Deli meats, canned soups, and frozen meals carry hidden sodium. Your palate adapts within 3 weeks. Hidden threat number 3 will be even more surprising because it is hiding inside something you drink thinking you are making a healthy choice. Hidden threat number 3. Diet sodas and artificial sweeteners. Did you switch from regular soda to diet, thinking you were protecting yourself? I completely understand. That is what everyone was told for years. But the science has shifted significantly. A study from the American Heart Association published in 2017, following more than 4,000 adults for 10 years, found that daily consumption of artificially sweetened beverages increases the risk of stroke and dementia by 48%. 48%. Artificial sweeteners, particularly aspartame and sucralose, alter the gut microbiome in ways that increase systemic inflammation, including inflammation of artery walls. It is like trading a known hazard for a hidden one. Patricia was 71 years old, a retired nurse from Atlanta, Georgia. She had managed her cholesterol with medication for nearly a decade and drank diet soda at lunch and dinner every day, confident she was making the responsible choice. When her labs showed chronically elevated CRP despite controlled cholesterol, she was genuinely confused. "But I take my statin exactly as prescribed," she told me. The statin manages cholesterol numbers. It does not manage the inflammation caused by artificial sweeteners. We removed the diet soda and replaced it with water infused with lemon and ginger slices. Within 60 days, her CRP normalized completely. "I never imagined diet soda was the issue," she said. What to do? Eliminate sodas of all kinds. Replace them with hibiscus tea served cold, water with cucumber and lemon, or plain sparkling water. If you need sweetness, use a small amount of raw honey or fresh fruit. Now, I really need you to pay close attention to what comes next, because I know you do this. Almost everyone does. Hidden threat number 2, light sedentariness, sitting more than 8 hours a day, even if you exercise. Wait, do you walk every morning? That is genuinely wonderful. But research shows that walking in the morning does not fully counteract the cardiovascular risk of sitting the rest of the day. This may feel unfair, but it is what scientists call the active couch potato effect. A study from the University of Leicester published in the European Heart Journal, following more than 15,000 adults, found that sitting more than 8 hours per day increases cardiovascular risk by 34%, regardless of other physical activity. When you sit for extended periods, circulation slows in your legs. Blood pools. Your leg muscles stop assisting the heart with venous return. Your arteries remain in an inflammatory environment for hours at a time. Think of your grandparents who worked physically all day. They did not go to a gym, but their bodies were in continuous motion throughout the day, bending, lifting, walking, carrying. That constant low-level movement kept their circulation active all day long. What to do? Every 45 minutes of sitting, stand up and walk for 5 minutes. Do small tasks standing, washing dishes, folding laundry. Take stairs when possible. A 10-minute walk after meals has been shown in studies to reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 12%. Do not underestimate small, frequent movement, and the closer we get to number 1, the harder it becomes to believe. The next one is already serious, but number 1 is going to completely change what you think you know about heart health. Write in the comments right now and let me know what city you are watching from. I genuinely love hearing where you all are. And if you are not yet subscribed to this channel, click the subscribe button now and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the next videos. This information could reach someone who truly needs it. And now we reach number 1. And this one, I will be honest, is going to surprise most people watching because it is not a food, it is not a drink, it is not a medication. It is something that may have quietly entered your life, perhaps years ago, and that almost no one is connecting to heart health. It is chronic loneliness and social isolation after retirement. You read that correctly, loneliness. A study published in The Lancet in 2023, analyzing data from more than 458,000 people across 21 countries over 15 years, found that chronic loneliness increases cardiovascular disease risk by 29% and stroke risk by 32%. Those numbers are comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. When a person feels chronically alone and disconnected, the body enters a state of persistent low-level alert. Cortisol, the stress hormone, remains chronically elevated. And chronically elevated cortisol is like a slow leak inside your arteries. It promotes vascular inflammation, raises blood pressure, accelerates LDL oxidation, and stiffens artery walls. It is a silent process. You cannot feel it. But your arteries register it every single day. Think of water slowly seeping into the foundation of a house. From outside, everything looks fine. But underneath, the damage is accumulating day by day until something gives. Chronic loneliness does exactly this to your cardiovascular system. Richard was 70 years old, a retired engineer from Dallas, Texas. He had been healthy his entire career. No smoking, moderate drinking, annual checkups always came back fine. But when he retired, his world contracted. His children lived in other states. His daily routine became television, solitary meals, and early bedtimes. 18 months later, a major cardiac event. When I spoke with him during his recovery, he said, "Doctor, I felt nothing. I genuinely thought everything was fine." The problem was not in his diet or his exercise routine. It was in the disconnection. What to do? Join a group. Any group, a walking club, a faith community, a volunteer organization, a class, a hobby group. The specific activity matters far less than the regular human connection it provides. Call someone today, a friend, a neighbor, a family member you have not spoken to in months. Mayo Clinic research shows that patients with strong social networks have 43% fewer cardiac rehospitalizations. Human connection is not a comfort. It is a clinical intervention. Now I want you to pay attention to signals your own body may already be giving you. Chest pressure or heaviness when climbing stairs or walking at a brisk pace is a signal worth investigating. Unusual fatigue without clear cause, shortness of breath during activities that used to feel easy, or swelling in your feet and ankles at the end of the day are also worth discussing with your doctor. Frequent morning headaches, tingling in your arms or hands, occasional blurred vision, or episodes of dizziness all deserve attention. Ask your physician for these tests by name: a complete lipid panel, high sensitivity CRP, fasting glucose, and hemoglobin A1C. Many of these are covered under Medicare with no out-of-pocket cost for patients over 65. Here is your action plan to start today. First, begin the tea protocol. 1 tablespoon of dried hibiscus flowers, 2 cloves of raw garlic lightly crushed, and 1 thick slice of fresh ginger. Bring 500 milliliters of water to a boil, turn off the heat, add the ingredients, cover for 10 minutes, strain and drink warm. 1 cup in the morning on an empty stomach and 1 cup in the evening 30 minutes before bed. Continue for 14 days. Second, remove margarine and trans fats from your kitchen today. Third, take the salt shaker off the table and begin reducing sodium gradually. Fourth, eliminate sodas, both regular and diet. Fifth, every 45 minutes of sitting, stand and move for 5 minutes. Sixth, reach out to someone today, a friend, a family member, a neighbor. Social connection is part of this protocol. Seventh, schedule your preventive blood work through Medicare this week. Preventive testing saves lives. A study published in the European Heart Journal in 2022, analyzing data from more than 500,000 people across 195 countries, found that 45% of all cardiovascular deaths could be prevented through simple lifestyle changes. 45%. Nearly 1 in every 2 deaths is preventable. That number changes everything. Dear friend, the health of your arteries is not determined by genetics alone. It is shaped by your daily choices. Every cup of tea you prepare, every walk you take, every phone call you make to a friend, all of it is writing the story of your heart. You are here because you care about your health. That alone puts you ahead. Now please share this video with your spouse, with that friend who eats processed food every morning, with that family member who has been withdrawing since retirement. This information might reach someone at exactly the right moment. In the next video, I will reveal a silent warning sign that appears in your fingernails and feet that may indicate compromised arteries, something 9 out of 10 people completely overlook. You will not want to miss it. May God bless you and give you much health. Until next time.